a man make mistakes? Is he eligible for redemption? Will it really hurt your spirit to make this one exception? If I did you wrong, am I wrong for doing you wrong? If we get back on and make a promise to get along, would you take me back? My bad, I'm back. Would you take me back? My bad, I'm back.
Yo, what's good? It's the Big D for the Big D channel. Got a little bit of a special show tonight. I'm here at night in the studio. Normally I'm here during the daytime, so I figured I'd try to do a night show. The lighting's a little bit different and all that stuff. I got these big windows on the side over here, so the light from the daytime just makes it real bright or whatever. And I was like, that's not really the aesthetic that I'm looking for. So maybe I'll switch my schedule up and I'll start to come at night and record my shows at night. So that's why I'm here. It's rainy here today in Rio. So I got to rest a lot today. I didn't really even go out and till later this evening. Got rained on a little bit on the way over here, but it's all good. I was just raring to go and kind of get this show done. This show is really cool because it's going to make us think a little bit about ourselves, maybe do a little self-evaluation, and maybe help us to understand our partner a little bit better, help us to maybe prevent the big D from happening. I know that's a tough thing, but hey, man, we gotta try, right? So it's gonna be something that kind of touches people a little bit. I think a lot of people kind of tell themselves a story about this situation, and they don't really be honest with themselves. So I think it's important for us to learn to be honest with ourselves. And once you start to become honest with yourself, then your life's gonna improve because you're gonna really be looking objectively at what your situation is, and you're going to be able to make changes to your situation that's probably going to improve the outcome and give you the results that you want. So let's jump right in here and let's see what's going on with this particular situation. This is from the Dead Bedroom Reddit. The person who sent it in was No Classroom 7336, and the title is, I'm about to give up, been over 3 years now. So as you can tell from the title, there's going to be some punctuation issues and stuff in here. So I'm going to read it the best that I can. Hopefully I can convey what she was saying, right? So she says, where do I even start? I'm a 46-year-old female, soon to be 47 on Thursday. Hoping for something good to happen on my birthday, and I know I'm just wishing. So I know what she's looking for, and I think you guys are going to be able to figure that out in a minute. He's a 54-year-old male and claims he doesn't want sex because I financially depend on him altogether. I'm always asking for something or needing things. Mind you, we live separately. We have our own apartments. He only helps me with 2 bills, cable and cell phone. I'm grateful for everything he does for me, but I pay dearly for it, trust me. Anyway, when COVID hit, we both gained some weight, and I became more depressed than usual. I also have major depression disorder and PTSD, and I'm also bipolar. I take medication for all that, and it doesn't interfere with my libido at all, still good to go. So we both are different looking than when we met, and I've become honestly really lazy with my appearance. Altogether, he just doesn't seem interested at all, and it was starting before COVID. So I know that's not what started it. So trust me, I know I need to lose the weight I put on bad. I need to lose the weight I put on bad. I'm miserable. My own mother reminds me daily that I'm huge. 5'9" and weigh 260 as of now, when it was 190. Anyway, I guess I'm asking for some advice on what happened with us, and he just quit looking at me. We don't even touch or hug or cuddle. I can take a shower and he will move to the other side of the couch so he doesn't see me get in and out of the shower. He doesn't even look at me anymore. I'm so lonely and stuck, and I need to do something fast because my mental health is deteriorating fast. Deteriorating fast over this. 3 years is insane to me without sex, and I have never been treated like this from a man. What should I do? Any advice would be greatly appreciated, and thank you for reading this far. We all need love sometimes. So I think she's correct with that statement. We definitely all need love sometime, right? So we all need somebody, that dotes on us a little bit, that desires us and wants us to succeed. somebody that's kind of, you know, near and dear to our heart and can be physical with us sometimes, and somebody that, you know, might overlook some of the flaws that we have, right? But I think it's important that we become honest with ourselves, because a lot of people, I'm noticing, like, especially in these last few years, I'm like, a lot of people just tell themselves a story. They tell themselves a story, and then they believe that story, and then anything that is outside of that, they don't really want to accept. And I think that's something that's detrimental to your growth as a person. I think it's detrimental to your health. It can be detrimental to your spiritual side. It can be detrimental to your mental. And she's definitely suffering from some things. So let's break this down a little bit. Let's get in here and talk about some of the things that she says. Now, she's 46 years old, about to be 47. I'm 53, so I kind of know what it is to be kind of in that area. You're not old, but you're not young, right? You gotta be careful how you do things, how much exercise you're getting, how much rest you're getting, and all that kind of stuff. If you're not super in shape, then it's going to be a struggle sometimes, right? So I know I was athletic as a youth, man. From second grade on, I used to run long distance. I could sprint. I used to play a lot of basketball, a lot of soccer. That was a daily thing at school. So we was always active. It's like my metabolism was super, super high for the longest time. And I think after I got married, even then I was still going and playing ball. I was playing ball probably 3 times a week, at least 3 times a week. You know, if it wasn't raining or whatever, we was out there playing ball, you know, full court, 5-on-5 at night. So I was keeping my metabolism up and keeping my weight down that way. But then I started working a B shift at one point when I was over at Morgan Stanley, and that touched me. It's like you at work, you're sitting down in front of a desk or whatever, you eating, you having your dinner at the desk, because, you're working at night shift. I'm supervising or whatever. I got a whole team of people or whatever, so I can't really just be gone or whatever like that. I feel like we had a gym in the building. I think I did go to that gym a few times in the building or whatever. I think. I don't remember if it's there or... Yeah, I think it was there in that building or whatever. But I never really utilized it like that. I got away from playing ball at night because I was working. So I started to gain weight then. And then when I left that or whatever, I went into my other studio in Orlando, started working my studio. And that caused me to be in the studio at night. Music was my thing. So it's like making music, recording, engineering or whatever, trying to get to the money. And, you just kind of end up in a situation where you start to gain weight and don't really realize it. So when I got divorced, or when I realized like things wasn't going well in the marriage and we definitely was about to separate, I kind of asked my ex, what happened? Like, what do you think happened? Like, what's the situation? And she told me flat out, she's like, you got fat. Now, she fluctuated weight over the years and stuff like that or whatever. I mean, I had looked at some pictures one time. I was like, wow, like I didn't realize how much weight she was fluctuating during our 15-year marriage or whatever. There's ups and down times or whatever. And it's like, and I pretty much just kind of steadily kind of gained weight or whatever like that. It wasn't outrageous, but I wasn't who she was when we met. So I think this is kind of the same situation with this lady here. She's saying that basically, COVID came about and neither one of them looked the way they looked when they met. Now, she didn't say how long they've been together or whatever like that, so I can't really tell for sure how she might have looked when she was younger. Maybe she was a little bit skinnier or whatever, but he's definitely turned off by her physical appearance. And so I think he kind of didn't want to tell her that is her physical appearance, because if we look up here, she says that he doesn't want sex because she financially depends on him, all the time, I guess. And I think that was kind of a cop-out. I think he should have been honest with her. Like, listen, I feel like, maybe physically you're not where I met you at or where I want you to be at or where I would be attracted to you at. That's your partner. You're supposed to be able to be that honest with them, right? Without hurting feelings or whatever like that. I think there should be a way for you to speak on it and say, hey, listen, like, I feel like you could get it together a little bit better and I would be interested. I would still be interested. Maybe you're still a beautiful girl or whatever like that. However, the weight thing is making you less attractive to me. You got to be able to say that, right? Not everybody's willing to accept that. We're going to get into that a little bit. But, but it doesn't seem like she's dependent on him 100% financially. She says he only helps her. He only helps her with two bills, the cable bill and the cell phone bill, which is not super expensive or whatever, especially for a 50-year-old male. He should have his situation together, maybe, be able to financially handle a little bit more. So I can't imagine that would be the thing that's killing him. Unless it's something outrageous. But I mean, cable and cell phone is probably not your biggest bills. Those are probably some of your small bills. So I don't think it was the financial thing that was messing with him like that. So, and she says she's cool with that. Everything's cool. She's grateful for what he does. But maybe there's some other things. She's saying he only pays two bills, but she didn't say about the other money that she's asking for. It sounds like he's saying that she always needs something, or she's always asking for something. She's asking for more than just the two bills. So she's hitting him. I know I go through it or whatever. I went through it this morning, yesterday too. It's just like I get these requests, these emergency situations happen. I get requests for money or whatever. I'm already sending money or whatever. And then it's like, okay, here's an emergency. Okay, I try to send money for that. And then the next day you're getting hit with like, okay, I need more money. And it's like, wait a minute, you have a responsibility for your life too. So it can get on your nerves as a man when a woman is just constantly hitting you. And it's like, yo, what am I, just the ATM? Like, whenever you have a problem, then it's just my job to pay for it, to fix it. Like, you got to take responsibility as an adult. And, so I go through it. So I get maybe where he's coming from with that. If it's too much, then she's got to look at that and say, hey, where am I really at with this? Am I taking care of my responsibilities the way that I'm supposed to be taking care of my responsibilities? Or am I doing reckless things that cause me not to have money to do the things that are necessary? Or when an emergency comes up, I don't have the money to take care of the emergency, and I've always got to go back to him. And these emergencies are weekly. That's probably going to be a problem. So I can see where that could be part of it, but I still don't think he was real honest. So she talked about after COVID, them gaining weight, and she became more depressed. Now, she says she also has depression disorder, major depression disorder, PTSD, and is bipolar. So now that's going to be something too. That's not going to be, it's nothing maybe that she can really do about that. That's her makeup, right? The makeup of the chemicals in her body. Physiologically, maybe she's a certain way. So that's something that she's got to deal with, medicate and things like that. That's going to be something that she's dealing with. So if you're experiencing any of those types of things or whatever, of course you got to go get some help. One thing, you got to be honest with yourself, like, maybe I need some help with this, so let me go talk to a doctor or a specialist or somebody who can help me with that. So I get it, but depending on what her situation is, maybe he's recognizing that too. Maybe that if it's getting worse for her, or it's not in control, or the medicine is maybe not the right medicine for her or something, that might be turning him off in a certain way too. So she's saying it don't interfere with my libido, so I'm good to go on that. So she wants to have sex, and maybe she's in her 40s, so you know how that is too. It's like women kind of get up in that age, that 40 to 50 range or whatever, and their libido could be kind of strong, you know what I'm saying? So, maybe he's not up to par in a certain way. Maybe his body has changed and things like that, and maybe he's not raring to go like when he was younger or whatever. So there's a little bit of a mismatch there. I could see that for sure. But she says, honestly, she's telling the truth here. She's saying she became really lazy with her appearance. So even if you might be a little bit heavier or whatever like that, how you carry yourself is going to be a strong, indicator of how well somebody's going to receive you, right? So you got to carry yourself a certain way. You got to look good, and you got to take care of yourself. If you don't have the best body shape, then dress nice, carry yourself a certain way, be more affectionate with him in a certain way or whatever. And he might overcome that, you know what I'm saying? But men are very visual. We're very visual creatures. So what we see is what we like, right? We know what we like when we see it. There's not too many times where we look at something and it just grows on us or whatever. We kind of can make a decision within about 2 seconds whether we like it or not. So he just doesn't seem interested at all, she says. but it was before COVID when it started. So that's what's telling me, like, you can't, she's throwing in all these little things. Oh, COVID happened or whatever. And, but it's not necessarily that. Maybe that added to it, but it probably is not that. During COVID, everybody was at home or whatever like that. A lot of people, was at home and they was together or whatever. If you was attracted to your spouse, you had all day to do your thing. You know what I'm saying? So we was locked down. So you had pretty much all day to do your thing. So if she didn't have that with him or whatever, they had separate apartments or whatever, but you adults or whatever, you don't sound like they got kids or whatever. So, or young kids anyway. So they could have, I think if he was really attracted to her, sound like she would have been down. So if he was down, then they would have had all the time in the world to be together, right? But it don't sound like he was interested even back then. So this has been going on for a minute because COVID was 2001, somewhere in there. So 2001, 2020 or 2021 area. So, it's been some time. It's 2025 now. So, but she said in 3 years, they haven't done anything in 3 years. So she says that even her mother tells her that she's huge. So that's telling us that she got some size on her. Mom is going to keep it 100. She ain't going to pull no punches or whatever. She going to tell you, hey, you need to push back from that plate. She going to tell you what's up, and ain't nothing you can do about it. So mom ain't helping with the situation, but she at least being 100 with her. You know what I'm saying? So she said her weight is 260. And when they met, it was 190. So that's a big fluctuation. That's a 70-pound gain. That could make a big difference in who you are, right? So, like, my weight has fluctuated now, whatever. When I came down here to Brazil or whatever, I lost a lot of weight, especially when I was out on the beach every day. Lost a lot of weight to the point where I felt like I looked sick. I looked in the mirror one day. I was like, oh, man, like, I got to put on weight. I was actually in my neighborhood. There was a little spot in there. They had cake. I found out they had cake one day, and I was like, oh shoot, let me get a couple slices of that or whatever. And I was eating cake, just trying to keep weight on, so it's like my body still responds to that, but I just have not put myself in a position now to be going to the gym, to be out there on the beach, running, doing my thing or whatever. I need to be more physical, a little bit more heavy physical activity for me to start to lose some weight or whatever, and then maybe change the diet and stuff. Those are things that I need to do. I'm kind of honest with that, but with myself, I'm looking like, I'm not happy right now. I'm not happy with where I am physically. I want some weight on me now because I am in Rio, and if it ever comes time to throw these hands, you want some weight behind them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want that weight behind me, but at the same time, it's like, how to, I don't want it affecting my sleep. I don't want it affecting, other parts of my life or whatever. I want to look good. I want to be able to go on the beach and take my shirt off, all that kind of stuff. It's like, I've got to work towards that. But if I'm dishonest with myself, I can't do that, right? So, I can't just be dishonest, or I have to just say, hey, I'm going to just let myself go and be a mess. Now, I do get some exercise now. Like, every time I leave here, I walk home, right? So I get that exercise every day. I still go out or whatever, walk and things like that, but not as much as I was doing before, and I need to do more of that, right? So cardio is a thing for me. I love cardio. I don't like lifting weights. I don't like the gym. I've never liked the gym. I got a gym membership. I remember back in Orlando, I got a gym membership or whatever, but I would leave there and go to the park and run. I used to like to be outside. And then one of the things that, I like to run, but then I would run on a treadmill in the gym. And even with my music on my headphones, I could just hear my feet pounding on the, on a treadmill. And it just was so unnerving for me just to hear that. I'm like, does everybody else hear this? Why do I sound like I'm an elephant, like on the freaking, on the treadmill or whatever? And so I would leave the gym and go to the park and run. So after a while, it's like, why am I paying for the gym? It's like, I'll lift weights a little bit or whatever like that. Probably because I didn't have a partner or somebody, to work out with or whatever. It just, I'm just kind of figuring out on my own or whatever. Maybe I should have got a trainer or something. It probably would have went better. But I just was more addicted to being outside. I felt better outside, running. And I got up to where I could run 3 miles, straight, so I was good. I was good. Like when I came to here to Rio the first time, where I stayed at. No, the second time I came, I came here. I came here once for like 4 days. And then I came right back 6 weeks after I left here. 6 weeks later, I was back here, and I stayed like 3 months. And I was living not too far from here. And when you go up the hill or whatever like that, I never would take the little vans they had. I would just walk. I would walk up and down the thing every single day, go to the beach and all that kind of stuff, walk everywhere I was going. And when I got back, I left Orlando basically being able to run like a mile, maybe a mile and a half. And when I got back, I was able to run 3 miles. Like my first run was like 3 miles without stopping, and I could have kept going. And I was like, so I got to be in real. I got to be in real because that's helping me, my health and all that, it's helping me be stronger. And I used to climb the stairs here. There's some stairs up to my place now. I used to climb those stairs every day, sometimes twice a day. And, things happen or whatever, I left something at home, I'd have to climb them 3 times or 2.5 times. And that's a pain. Like them stairs is a lot. But I did that for years, and now I've kind of stopped doing that because I'm like, listen, you're at a certain age or whatever. Your heart, you got to be careful with your heart and everything else. You got to be careful, man. I can't overdo it. So I'm not saying that a person that's in this age range, like where she's at, should overdo it, but make some efforts. I think the thing for me is when I see people making effort, especially a bigger person or whatever, out there with us running or walking and doing some exercise or whatever, I'd be proud of that person. I'd be like, man, that person, it takes dedication to do that. It takes a certain amount of strength, personal strength, to get out there and do that. So I don't look at those people and laugh at them. I think, you know what, they making moves to try to improve their situation or at least maintain their situation a certain way. I ain't got nothing but love for them. So. But yeah, so she's saying it's wild over there or whatever. They don't touch, they don't hug, they don't cuddle. She said if she take a shower, she leaving the door open. Obviously, she leaving the door open so he could see her. Whatever. Maybe entice him a little bit. But she said he don't even look. He'll move to the other side of the couch so he can't see her in the shower or whatever, which is crazy, So he's got some things going on too, maybe mentally or whatever. He might be seeing somebody else. You never know, right? So but her mental health is declining, right? She's saying it's deteriorating fast. She's already got these other issues going on mentally and all that stuff. And she says she's never been treated like this from a man. Well, you've never been this age before, right? You've never been this age. You've probably not been this weight before, so, and you've probably not been in this mental state before, not at the level that you're at. So you got a lot of things that change there. And he, just happens to be the person that's there at the point in time when you're going through all of this at the same time. And it probably seems like it's insurmountable and it's too much to deal with. It's overwhelming, right? So she says, what should I do? Any advice would be greatly appreciated. And she's like, but I'm like, she don't understand what's going on. And it's like, well, you just told us all of these things. So what is the story that you have told yourself? What is it that you have said to yourself that you can't understand or that you can't put these things together? Your mental health, your physical health, all of those things declining, and you're expecting him to be the same and have the same attraction to you when you have things that are not necessarily attractive going on about you or are making you less attractive to him. Why are you asking for, what's going on when you actually are outlaying the problems that you have and the challenges that you have? Even your mom is telling you like, hey, this is what's going on with you. You gotta kind of work on that. She's not just telling you because she wants to hurt you. She's telling you because she wants you to work on it a little bit at a certain level and to improve yourself. And I think sometimes people kind of get into a place where they tell themselves a story that everything is okay and I just need everybody else to change. And that's not what's going to happen. So let's take a quick look here and let's see what the response was to this situation. So we had short ad 2440 said, you let yourself go, you let your mental health spiral, and he feels like he's taking care of you like a dependent, and you're surprised, Pikachu face, that you're in the roommate phase. The reason he lost attraction is the same reason I dumped my ex-wife. you let yourself go and put zero effort in maintaining attraction for years. He probably feels resentment because you let it drag on and killed his attraction. Didn't care about how all this affects him. Dressing frumpy also is a big mood killer. And dealing with a partner's mental health struggles isn't sexy either. You aren't entitled to your partner's attraction. You gotta work for it. Love isn't all about attraction, but without attraction, that love becomes platonic. You can't shame or negotiate a relationship out of a dead bedroom while ignoring what the other person needs, wants, and desires. And if you no longer fit the mold for what they want and don't want to change, well, that's your fault for being a bait and switch. Your age and weight is obese. Your age and your weight is obese. I wouldn't listen to the ladies, I think he went to say gaslighting you. My ex is 30 pounds lighter, 7 years younger, and still shaped like a lumpy potato. Wow. If you really want to fix this, it's time to be honest with yourself and take accountability. Then take action to fix the issue. So what do y'all think? My man was going in a little bit. You can tell he's passionate about the situation. I love it because I'm a passionate person too about certain things. I jump in there and I have certain things to say. And as I get older, I realize like people tell themselves these stories and they'll lie to themselves. And if you sugarcoat it a little bit, or if you let them off the hook, or you don't really kind of give it to them, they'll take that and run with it to mean like, okay, well, he's not really telling me anything too heavy, so I'm going to just remain the way that I am. And you're almost validating the story that they told themselves. I've learned that. I'm like, we see that with the political arena now. We see that, with relationships and how people go about things or whatever. It's a lot of examples of it. And it's like, you're bringing these problems on yourself and you're trying to make it everybody else's fault. And then you have people that are trying to be nice to you and tell you in a nice way, and you're not listening. And then when somebody really comes and hits you over the head with it, then is only the time that you pay attention, only when you get hit over the head with it. And some people it could go one of two ways, right? They could either ignore that and be like, oh, you're just a hater and you're not being nice to me and all this stuff, and they just kind of like push it away. Or there could be that person that's like, that it finally jars them awake and is like, oh, I'm in the wrong here. I probably could do better for myself. And when it comes down to weight, especially weight and body type, people tend to kind of tell themselves a story about it, and they don't want to get better. They don't want to do what it takes to get better, right? Because they realize it's work. They realize that it takes dedication, and they're afraid of that. They're afraid of the pain. I think people don't go to the gym, and I think people like do New Year's resolutions and stuff like that to go to the gym, because they want to get better and they feel like, oh yeah, I'm going to do it. They get it in their mind, yeah, I'm going to do it or whatever, but they don't really commit to it. And a couple months in, they're canceling the gym membership. Why? Because they haven't dedicated themselves to it. They haven't told themselves like, whatever the pain is, I'm going to work through it. And I think sometimes it's just painful, and they try to do so much in the beginning, they don't stick with it. Because who wants to be in pain all the time? That's one of the reasons why I think like now mentally I've kind of put this off for me, like getting back in the gym and stuff like that, is because it's like, I got to be here. I have other responsibilities. I got, the teaching business. I got the music that I'm producing, stuff like that, album projects and things that I'm working on. And I got to be on point for that. And I don't want to be in pain. I don't want to be sitting here in pain, the whole time. I've got to kind of find that balance for that. And then, I've got to get my rest and all that kind of stuff. Is like a lot of it can be mentally draining, the things that I'm doing, right? I'm building, my other site now too, like, my sync site for the music and all of that. So it's like I always have projects going on, and it's like I've got to be on point for that. I can't physically be hurting because it's going to take a toll on my other work. Right. And those things are important for me to get done. So I got to find a balance. And I think that's part of it. So I think people just don't commit to it because they feel like this is going to be painful. And I think the thing is, when I started running, it was painful, man. Matter of fact, I worked near the park that I started running at. And this is way before I even got divorced. And one day at lunchtime, I was like, yo, I'm gonna start walking at lunch. I need to go walk around this lake or whatever. And, take me some time or walk around maybe once or twice and then come back or whatever. That'll be my lunch hour. And the first time I went, I had shin splints like crazy. I got like halfway around there and I couldn't even walk. I had to sit down. I had the shin splints or whatever. I was like, damn, am I going to make it back to work? It's like, I got to make it back to work. So I had to like fight through that to get back to work. And, and that was crazy for me, but it's like, I gotta work through it or whatever. So it was pain for a few days or whatever like that, but I went back, and then eventually I was able to get out there and just do it without any pain. And then I had to work through that pain though. It was excruciating. So I get it, but this guy, I understand what he's doing. He's telling the truth. You can't let yourself go physically, have mental issues, and need money and expect your partner to always be happy with you and feel like you're the partner that he wants. That's not going to work. And so that's what he's saying. It's like, you can't be surprised that there's a loss of attraction there. The man signed up for you to be as one way, and now he's got something else, and it's not appealing to what he needs to have a partner. You don't feel like a partner for him. So I think, he went in a little bit, with his response or whatever. Like he said, you're not entitled to your partner's attraction. You got to work for it. Everything in life takes work. It takes effort. You see, I'm here tonight or whatever. I thought about staying home, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to go make this video. This video might be the one that finally people, like, whatever. I don't know. Maybe more people will watch it. But, I had to get here. I had to make that effort, even though it's raining and everything else and lightning in the sky or whatever. I came out my house and I came here to do this. So you got to make that effort. And the same thing in your relationships, you got to make effort or whatever. So it's not always going to be just you're going to be attracted to this person physically. If everything else ain't lined up right, the physical is not going to happen. That's just not going to happen. So she's in a situation where she's not really telling herself the truth, I think, 100%, or hasn't at least. I think she understands what the truth is, but she hasn't accepted it to the point where she's ready to do something about it. And I think what he's trying to say is like, you got to do something about this. You got to do it. So, being obese, and then, he talks about people gaslighting. So that's what we go see next. What is the response to him by the things that he said to her, right? So let's see what the response is to him. So No Class 7336 says, she really did a number on your ass. Laugh my freaking ass off. You're pathetic and you have no clue what you're talking about. I think you need a lot of counseling and maybe date men because you definitely hate women. Whatever she did to you, she most definitely ruined you. Hopefully, you never find anyone who has to deal with a boy like you. Poor little boy. What? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. But this is what I've been talking about. They tell themselves a story. They don't want to hear the truth. And when somebody now they ask for advice. What am I supposed to do? What's wrong in this situation? And somebody comes along and tells them what's wrong in the situation. And the first thing she do is insult the man like crazy. Say, his ex-wife, whatever, did something to you. She did a number on you or whatever. What are you talking about? He told you exactly what was going on with her and why he made the decision that he made. And now you're invalidating his experience and telling him that he wasn't supposed to feel like that. What was he supposed to do? Pretend that he was attracted to his ex and stay with her when she wasn't providing what he wanted? And it's his fault that she was having the issues that she was having? Oh my God. So this is really, really wild. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, she's like, you need a lot of counseling. Who needs counseling? You're the one on here asking for advice. You're the one in here with mental disorders and PTSD and bipolar and and too heavy and not getting no sex for 3 years, and you telling him he needs counseling. This is what I'm saying. This is the thing that I'm passionate now. So I'm like, hold up, man, hold up. You cannot shoot this man down. You asked for the advice. You did it in a public forum, and now you're getting the advice, and look at how you act about it. This is why the guy's not attracted to you. This is exactly why he's not attracted to you, because if he had, that's why he's telling you that financially you depend on him, when he's really trying to say you're fat. You got fat. That's what he's trying to say to you, but he's trying to be nice to you and not tell you like that. So he's telling you that, oh, you depend on me too much financially, even though I only pay your cable bill and your cell phone bill. Because you don't accept criticism well. You don't know how to accept criticism without trying to tear somebody else down. They say that hurt people hurt people. And here you go asking for advice. You going to ask for the advice and then have the nerve to tear down somebody who told you the truth. You don't want the truth. And you know what? You're going to keep not getting sex because you're not ready to do something about your situation. If you was ready to do something about your situation, you would look at what he said. Even if you didn't like everything that he said, you would pick certain things out and be like, yo, you right. I get it. Maybe what I'm providing for this person is not right. Think about it. Would she go to a restaurant that doesn't have any food that she don't like? She gonna go just because it exists? She wouldn't feel obligated to go to the restaurant and spend her money there. If they gave her nasty food, maybe she liked something there, but when she got it, it wasn't up to par what she normally gets or whatever like that, she would complain about it. If the drinks was weak, she gonna complain about it. She gonna say, listen, I'm giving this much and I'm not getting back what I was supposed to get in return. So what would she think if the restaurant was like, well, screw you, give us your money and get out? Like, you ain't got to come back here no more. What would she do? She would be all on the internet trying to, give them 1 star on the Yelp, making reviews and stuff and making TikToks and stuff, because she would be mad that she got treated that way. So why would you treat another human being that way when they telling you the truth? Because you're not really willing to accept the truth, and that's why you're not having sex for the last 3 years. And then here comes Exciting Drag, 8847 jumping in. Wow, that guy was awful. You should pick yourself up and dust yourself off after that and not think about this guy ever again. What? So not only is she dead wrong for the way that she approached it, but then you got another one come along and co-sign it for her. And tell her, no, believe the story that you tell yourself. Believe the lies that you tell yourself, because that's easier and it's nicer. You're not going to have any sex for the next 3 years. He's not going to be attractive to you. He's probably going to leave you. You're not going to get any help with your situation. But let me tell you what you want to hear so that you can feel like it's nice and you can feel good. This is crazy. So Euphoric Breadfruit says, WTF, he gave you constructive advice and you insult him? Seriously, you really need to work on yourself by losing weight and being feminine and dropping the bitch attitude. Guys do not like that. There are 8 words women need to follow to keep a man. Long hair, keep fit, sex anytime, shut up. Now, I don't necessarily believe with the shut up part, but I get what he's saying. So we'll go with 6 out of 8. He was up there. He scored all right. But, maybe 2 of them we gonna we gonna walk away from. But I'm just, I think this show is real important because this is why the big D happens. This is why people get divorced. This is why relationships don't work. If you are not honest with yourself and you don't take care of yourself and you expect other people to take care of themselves, there's going to be a huge disconnect in your relationship, and you're not going to be able to connect those dots until you stop telling yourself the story, until you let people be honest with you and you can take honest criticism. So that's going to be the show. I know I've been going on, damn, it's almost 40 minutes now. So if you stayed for this long, I'm glad that you stayed or whatever. It's your boy, the Big D. I always want to say Knock Real because I do my shows for Knock Real too. I'm a music artist and stuff like that. You can tell by looking around here. So, check out the Knock Real Beats music site. Check out my Brazil Living YouTube or whatever. I think that should be in the comments here, or not in the comments, but in the description here or whatever. Check out that channel or whatever. That's me living here in Brazil. I try to compartmentalize those things: my music, living in Brazil, and then the Big D channel. So I got a lot going on. We're going to try to keep doing this. We maybe come back at night and do a bunch more of these or whatever. I kind of like this. I like the energy and where I'm at. It was good for me to sleep a lot today, get that rest, and be energized for the show today. So I hope that you have a good night. Y'all have a good one. Peace. It's your boy, the Big D.
Can a man make mistakes? Is he eligible for redemption? Will it really hurt your spirit to make this one exception? If I did you wrong, am I wrong for doing you wrong? If we get back on and make a promise to get along, would you take me back? My bad, I'm back. Would you take me back? My bad, I'm back.